Hi guys, I'm Abba. Thanks for joining me again for the basics of security. So it's been a long time I have not done any videos. So let's start with the recap what we have seen in our previous sessions. The first way I'll be touching what are the goals of security, which I have done in my first session. Our goals of security is mainly three things that is also called the fundamental principle of securities, that is availability, integrity, and confidentiality. If we are talking about the availability ensures reliability and timely access to the data and resources to authorized individuals. It can be hampered with the denial of service attacks, which cause the unavailability of resources to the users. Our next fundamental principle is integrity. When we are talking about the integrity is upheld when the assurance of accuracy and reliability of information and system is provided and any unauthorized modification is preventive. So it is caused when an attacker inserts a virus, logic bomb, backdoors into a system that that system's integrity is compromised. That we are having the integrity. The third term which we are having is basically the confidentiality, which talks about uh, the assurance that the necessary level of secrecy is enforced at each junction of data processing and preventing unauthorized disclosure. How we can achieve them? We can achieve them through encryption, encryption of the data at rest, encryption of the data at transition, or we can talk about the access control. So these are the basic fundamental principles of security. If we are coming forward in our last session, we have talked we had the word regarding the security terminologies. So there are five security terms uh, which we should be it should be understood to us very in a deep if we want to learn about the security. The first term is vulnerability. Vulnerability is basically a weakness in a system that allows a threat source to compromise its security. It can be a software vulnerability, hardware vulnerability, a procedural or a human weakness that can be exploited. Second term is risk. What is risk? Risk is a likelihood of a threat source exploiting a vulnerability and corresponding business impact. That is called a risk. Now, next is threat. What is a threat? Threat is any potential danger that is associated with the exposure of a vulnerability. So, if we have a vulnerability, if there is if the exposure can be happen to the vulnerability, so who caused the whosoever caused the exploitation is a threat, and in detail we can say that as a threat agent who is doing that. Next terminology is control, or we can also say is the countermeasure is put into the place to reduce the potential risk. A control may be a software configuration, a hardware device, or a procedure that eliminates a vulnerability or that reduces the likelihood a threat agent will be able to exploit a vulnerability. So this is just a recap of what we have covered in our last sessions. If you want to understand them in detail, then you can refer to my YouTube channel, that is Cybersecurity with Abba, and I have put two videos here. The first is the fundamental principle of security, which talks about availability, integrity, and confidentiality. And the next video is security definitions, like I have just discussed, that is vulnerability, threat agent. So today's topic is controls. So I'll be discussing what is control, what are the different types of control, what is the functionality of control, and when we are talking about defense in depth, so in which position for which particular security element which control can be used. So let's start with the basic definition. What is control? Control, or we can say as a countermeasure as well, is put into the place to reduce the potential risk. One thing is risk can never be eliminated. It can only be minimized to a certain level. So A countermeasure may be a software, a hardware, or a procedure that eliminates a vulnerability or that reduces the likelihood a threat agent will be able to exploit a vulnerability. But when we are talking about a control, there are three major types of control. One, it can be the administrative control, which is also referred to as a soft control, because that is not in a technical in nature. This is moreover like when we are talking about the documentation, when we are talking about the security awareness trainings or the personal security. So this is what we are having inside our administrative controls. So in administrative controls, we can talk about security awareness trainings, generally inside our induction program when anybody joins an organization. So at a first level, they are giving them a basic of security. Like whenever you are entering inside the premises, then you have an authorization that can be through the biometric system or through your company card. Do not allow anybody to do the tailgating. So such type of things we do give them some trainings on. There are mandatory online trainings as well that everybody has to complete it, so that we make sure a user is aware of what should be the security precaution that person needs to take. Second can be the security documentation. So it may possible there is a project, and once project is completed, resources here and there is a another team comes to enter into a project, but complete KTA does not happen, or KT do happened, but they don't remember that thing. After all, we are humans, so at that time the documentation is very important. So the security documentation, so we can talk about it. The next we can also talk about in the administrative control as a policies and procedure. So we should have a policy, we should have a procedure how to implement them, we should have a standards corresponding to that, the technical uh, detail of all those things that's come into the administrative control. Next is, which is more closer to, I would say, the technical person, that is the technical control. We can also refer them as a logical control. They are software or hardware components control. So it consists of firewall, intrusion detection and prevention system, anti-malware system, access control, encryption. Like let's take it one by one. Encryption. So we can talk about the data encryption and data at rest, which is stored inside our at cloud or at our locally inside our disk. It should be encrypted. When the data is getting transferred from one system to another system, that can be through the internet or internet, it should be encrypted with the security key, or there can be any other way. Access control, when we are talking about we are talking about the need to know basis access. There should not be a privileged access. Then we can talk about the password vault and all those things. Anti-malware. So every time a malware is upgrading on the day-to-day basis, so we should have a tool who detects the signature and then stop the malware or intimate us, so that we can diagnose them in detail. Firewall, like, and there, if we are having we are connect our network is connecting to the internet, so firewall should be between the internet and intranet, so that it can only allows the legitimate traffic, and illegitimate traffic can be stopped at a very initial state at a firewall level. So these are some technical technologies we can use to restrict the risk, and which is called as a technical control. The third type of control, if we are talking about the physical control, these are the item put into the place to protect our facility, persons, and resources. This is like a security guard or physical, like if we don't want anybody to enter inside our premises, we can put as a fingerprinting, or maybe the facial recognition, or the card scan, so that if a person has these things, only then the person can be entered. We can put the fences, we can put the or if we want, we can have a normal locking system. So these type of things are called as a physical control. So these are three major types of control, that is administrative control, technical control, and physical control. So the main thing is we are having a method of defense in depth. So when we are trying to implement the security inside our organization, so it helps us to understand at which level we need to put the preventions. So let's start with first data security. So how we can make sure our data is secure. It means data cannot be leaked or data cannot be changed either at rest or in transition. So how we can make sure about it? First is we can access control. We can put a proper access control, so only the authorized person can access our data. Second is we can do the data masking. So for the legitimate user as well, only few digits are shown. Let's suppose we are we are in a financial sector and we do handle the pan cards and account numbers. So in that sense, we don't want our employees to know these details of the customer. So we can use the data masking, or we can go for a data encryption, data at rest encryption, and data at transit encryption. These things can be achieved, but how we can achieve these things is moreover like an technical tool, which we technical control that we need to put. Second is application security. We want to save our application from an attack. It can be let's suppose somebody has created a backdoor, so we need to prevent those particular backdoor inside our system. Or somebody wants to cause a situation of denial of services to us, put so much traffic on our application, so it will not be able to handle itself. So these type of controls, or some malware has happened, some ransomware attack can happen. So all these things are come under the application. So how we can save that? We can also save that with the technical control. Next is a host. When we are talking about a host can have different instances or different application inside that. So when we are talking about a host, it also can have let's suppose if we are having a virtualization concept. So hypervisor and virtualization, it may possible a person is having an access of one one virtual system, and on the same host there are other virtual system as well. So security should be like that. If we are giving the access to one virtual system, then it cannot access the data or anything from the other virtual system. So such type of security can be there. Or attack cannot happen if let's suppose one virtual system got compromised, it should not impact the other virtual system. Or even if it is not a case of a virtual system, a physical host should be protected. That can be protected through technical control as well as a physical control. If we are talking about our physical servers are sitting inside a data center, so the physical security of that data center, that can be achieved through our on entry. Did we put the card scanning, biometric, facial recognition, or passwords or not? Do we have a proper camera in place so that it is capturing whosoever has entered inside the server room and how much time that person stays that? Or we need to make sure a proper temperature should be maintained. We should have a fire extinguisher over there. Power backup should be there. So these are all the basic things which can be covered inside the host as well as in the physical security. Because when we come to the physical security, we talks about these things not only at a data center level but also at a office premises level, or I would say wherever the physical security requires. Then we just left behind the network is we are using to connect different system. That can be we are connecting a user system to a server, or user system to another system. And it's era of cloud. So every communication is through the internet, through the network. That can be intranet or a internet. When we are talking about the network security, so first thing comes into our mind is the firewall. So firewall we can put a parameter firewall between our internet to our DMZ, or there can be the other firewall which we can put between our DMZ server to our intranet, and we can deny all this traffic and only allow the legitimate traffic. So such type of things can be covered inside our network zone. Then comes the